Yeah, and for me, I think the most stunning thing that I saw in his speech is what RFK Jr. talked about, the war on our children, or really the chronic disease epidemic that you see in the United States, especially among kids. All right, welcome to the Best Half Show. This is a show all about how to make the second half of your life 10 times better than your first. Normally, I'm joined by my co-host, Roman Bodrchuk. Today, it's just going to be me, and we're just going to be hanging out. I was going to talk about something about personal branding, but that was overtaken by events. We have two huge pieces of news that came in the last week, and that I think that will actually profoundly impact the second half of our lives. That's what we're talking about. The first was Robert F. Kennedy Jr.'s stunning speech, probably the greatest political speech that I've seen in my lifetime, and his endorsement of Donald Trump from the other party, from the Republican Party. And I think it's absolutely worth talking about. And the second is Pavel Durov, the CEO of Telecom, his arrest in France in the last couple of days, and its impact on freedom of speech and the ability to share information free of censorship. And I think these things are very much related, because one of the big aspects of Robert F. Kennedy's speech was about censorship. Well, if you like this episode, I would encourage you to hit the like button. Please make some comments. Like, we really want to meet some of you guys.
Yeah, listen, we'd love you to subscribe, leave us some comments, and we are planning some pretty fun parties coming up, so maybe we'll invite you. So yeah, please subscribe, give us a comment, and we look forward to meeting you in person as well.
So this is Robert F. Kennedy Jr. He grew up with John F. Kennedy and R.F. Kennedy and Martin Luther King and Ralph Nader. And these people from, the principled left that were supporters of the little guy, against big industry, against corruption, against censorship, against wars. And, how far the Democratic Party has become, and how much it's against all of those ideals. It's for war. It's for censorship. It's really against all the interests of the little guy. It's for the poisoning of people with the products of big food and big pharma. And it was just incredible for me to see someone of his stature basically talk about this stuff on live TV. Like, no one was really allowed to talk about this for a while. And here was somebody that was basically telling the whole world what was really going on. Especially, four big things. One is the institutionalized corruption of the Democratic Party, where they didn't elect someone. They didn't elect someone. They appointed somebody who didn't go through any sort of democratic process, pushed aside a sitting president, and also used lawfare in order to sideline Robert F. Kennedy Jr.'s campaign, try to sue him out of existence. And then the three things, like the censorship, and we've seen this even on our channel. It's crazy to me, the number of things that I think that me and Roman have said that, honestly, quite benign, where YouTube has told us we're not allowed to say that, where Google's not allowed us to buy ads, where Instagram has pulled the plug. And honestly, we're not really saying a lot that's controversial. So we've experienced some of that censorship, maybe at the algorithmic level. But some of these people have seen it at an institutional level. And I thank God that that Elon Musk has bought X, and for the first time, I think in quite a while, we're seeing free discourse there on X, and people being able to describe this stuff freely. But Robert F. Kennedy shone a big light on what he called the censorship industrial complex. Yeah, so this point that RFK Jr. made about censorship was, I think, punctuated really well by the arrest of Pavel Durov, who's the CEO of Telecom. Telecom's a platform for sharing information in France, and he was arrested basically for running a platform where censorship was not allowed. He wasn't censoring people the way that the global authorities wanted him to. He was not providing a backdoor to, basically to the data on that platform. He's originally Russian, and I guess he didn't really want to be under Putin's thumb, so he thought he would be better off elsewhere in France. But I think we're seeing now that the empire is striking back.
Hi, it's Roman Bodrchuk from the Best Half Show. Today is all about 10xing your life, 10xing your health, 10xing your business, 10xing your income. Our entire show is about making the second half of your life 10 times better than your first. But today we want you to 10x your algorithms. By you pressing subscribe right now on the Best Half Show, all of a sudden the feed that you get from Apple, from YouTube, from Spotify will change. You're gonna get content like ours, content that will help you 10x your life. So press subscribe now and 10x your life.
So what does this mean for free speech? Well, I think what we're seeing is that it's going to come under attack. And really at the last bastion of freedom of speech really is X these days and the independent internet. And if I was Elon, I would be pretty nervous about going to Europe right now. And indeed, there were threats that were made against him. And I think that there's a number of people that would love to see him arrested also. So I hope that he stays safe and that X continues to be a place where we're able to freely learn about what's going on and be able to share that information. Two other things that were brought up in RF Kennedy's speech was about war. And of course, for anybody like me that's at least formerly a libertarian, there's no bigger risk to our rights than wars. The thing I think we need to be on our toes about is that, again, I think there's very large, powerful, and entrenched interests that don't want to see the enlightenment of people. Yeah, and for me, I think the most stunning thing that I saw in his speech is what RFK Jr. talked about, the war on our children, or really the chronic disease epidemic that you see in the United States, especially among kids. Right? So, for kids now, you've got rates of autism that's 1 in 36. In California, 1 in 22. I mean, that was 1 in 1,500 during our lifetime. 1 in 5 kids have fatty liver. I mean, fatty liver is something like alcoholic adults that eat nothing but McDonald's have, right? And now you've got all these kids that are basically being poisoned by the products of big pharma and big ag. And for the first time ever, I see a massive a politician with a massive standing and shining a giant light on it. And I'm seeing the awakening happening everywhere. The awakening is happening a lot on X. This is where I learned about the dangers of seed oils and ultra-processed foods. I didn't know about it before. And now all of a sudden, I'm seeing everybody talk about this. Like, there's so much awareness that we should not be shopping around, the outside, the inside of the supermarket, really only be buying things around the outside, to be filling our bodies with healthy proteins and fats and avoiding these ultra-processed carbs. I lived in Asia for 2.5 years. It's amazing. I lost 20 pounds easily, and I ate more carbs than before. I hear this story everywhere. People go to Europe or Asia, and all of a sudden they're a lot healthier. And so there's something that's very, very wrong with our food supply. And there's also something very wrong with a lot of the information that we're getting from the mainstream media. And I think this is why we've created this show, right? Why we have the Best Half Show, why we're creating a Best Half Club, is because this is the antidote for some of the poisoning that you see in the information supply and in the food supply out there, where we've done our research, where we have learned about what we really need to do in order to keep our minds healthy and our body healthy. And we share those best practices of what we know and the practices that we are doing on our own bodies. We're excited to hear from you. What are you concerned about? What would you like us to talk about? We'll go deep. We'll understand the issues. We'll read the science, share the best practices of what we know. So before the internet all burns down, make sure that you subscribe to our show. Join our community where we share with you our unbiased view, where you can surround yourself with like-minded people and really learn the truth of what's out there and maximize the second half of your life.